All right. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the FF Face Off. This is obviously a fantasy football podcast, as you all know, in which we are delivering you all of the reactions of what has transpired here in week 15. Obviously, we do have one more week to go, one more game to go, I should say, that being tonight, Monday Night Football, the Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if you need something out of that game, let us know. We'll give you our idea of if we think you'll make it or not. Hopefully you will. We root for everybody who's on here. But yeah, so we'll give you all that. My name is Michael Hopp. You can follow me on X at the FF Realist. I will be joined at some point by Ben, who could be followed at FF Rabbit Dad. If you guys are on here on Mondays, you guys know he's always on here. He will be here shortly. We got inclement weather all around the East Coast, so driving's a bit of a bitch. So when he gets here, he will be here, and we'll talk some tight ends. We'll talk some Minnesota Vikings because his Vikings had a big win last night. Took the Cowboys seemingly out of playoff contention, even though there is a shot of them making it. But, I mean, honestly, this is just a reaction show of everything that transpired over the past week, most notably things like Kyle Pitts going off. We've got Ben here. We'll add him now. Ben, sir, how's it going?
Going pretty good. Sorry I'm a little bit late.
Mm-mm.
Working 6 days a week is sucky. So
yeah. Well, I just also mentioned the weather too. I mean, how's the weather by you?
I mean, at least today it was a little bit warmer. We got up to the mid 20s today, so maybe we'll hit 40 tomorrow. So it'll almost be like spring again.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot of snow here over on the East Coast, so looking forward to that melting. So yeah, that's going to be a bit, but yeah. So I literally just started the show now. So I said we'll talk some of the injuries. We'll talk some of the big reactions. Talk about your Vikings, but our resident troll ATL, who still has not figured out why his name comes in full with a 9140. He does say with Mahomes' injury, does that knock him off the QB1 tier? Ben, I'll just let you know behind the curtain, ATL is our resident troll, and all day he's been telling me that basically Pat Mahomes is no longer elite or won't be as good. The window is closed. The show is over. Sayonara. The fat lady has sung. Everything. The whole kit and caboodle. Now he'll say, I didn't say that directly, but whatever he said, he fucking said. I can't. I'm not going through the text. But anyway, let's actually kick it off with this because I mean there were some injuries over the weekend. Obviously, Micah Parsons a big one, but Pat Mahomes, even with the Chiefs now being out of playoff contention officially, this is still a big loss, for the NFL, but really for fantasy football. Because, I mean, Pat Mahomes, you'd have to imagine he'd still want to go out there, even if the team was out of the playoffs, if he was fully healthy. But now he is out. We'll see if he misses any time in 2026. But talk about your reaction to the Pat Mahomes injury. And, all right, do you think this is the beginning of the end of Pat Mahomes being an elite quarterback in the NFL?
All right. Well, first off, let me state that I'm very familiar with ATL. I've heard his shenanigans for many years since before I even started helping you guys out with the website and everything. So I'm very familiar with his shenanigans. Yeah, his reputation is well known.
Okay.
That said, I do not think this is the beginning of the end for Patrick Mahomes. I think we shouldn't expect a whole lot coming into the beginning of next season because obviously you get an ACL tear, a knee injury like this late in the year. It's we're talking about it's like a minimum 8-9 month recovery unless you're some kind of athletic genetic freak like Adrian Peterson. Who I'm not saying I don't think Mahomes is that kind of player, but he is still, in my opinion, going to be a tier 1 quarterback for a number of years.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Did you have more, or were you taking a sip there?
No, that's good. I got my bit in.
Yeah, listen, I think from an NFL perspective, I think that there are changes to be expected on the horizons for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, does Kelsey come back? I had been saying for a few weeks that I was saying he would. Now after yesterday's events, I'm not as confident in that. But but we'll see how things go. But I mean, I'll say this: when Mahomes is ready to play in fantasy, I would be looking to roster him potentially, depending on what I had. if you're in a 1 QB league, if he's available, 2 QB league, you could always stash him on the IR if it starts the year on the IR. We'll probably have a lot of discussions about that over the summer. A lot to digest there. But again, that's all stuff for after this fantasy football playoff season. Jared here, Jared Fortin 6944 says, "Hey guys, ugly dilemma: Tua or Rodgers? I am down 25. He has Warren / Gainwell. So I don't know if that means Warren and Gainwell or Warren or Gainwell. I have Rodgers or Tua and DK and a linebacker." If you're down by 25, I'm not sure who your linebacker is, but you could make up, I think, enough ground there.
Yeah, I would say the tricky part is knowing what the scoring is, especially when you're talking IDP. There's so many different ways to score it and whatnot. So
Jared
it's
did
really
come
hard to
back
say.
in. He did come back in and say that it's PPR scoring. So I'm not sure, Now, Jared, since you're commenting there, is this does he have Warren and Gainwell or Warren or Gainwell? Like, is he only starting one of them, or because that kind of matters here? If you're starting both of them, then yeah, it's a problem. I would say, all right. He said or. All right, so he has either Warren or Gainwell. Warren did pop up on the injury report with an illness. For what it's worth, I still think he plays. But all right, let's do it this way, Ben, because obviously the biggest piece here is the quarterback situation, Tua or Rodgers. I know a lot of people want to talk about the Dolphins playing outdoors, so on and so forth. I get it, but the weather conditions aren't going to be awful tonight. It's going to be cold. It's not going to be terrible. It's not like that Buffalo playoff game the Dolphins had to play in. Who would you take here?
Well, I think I would still go with Rodgers. I just feel like having that stack is you got to play for the upside in this situation. You're already down. You're going against a running back who potentially you could end up being against like a almost bell cow running back. So I think you're going to want that upside of the stack with Rodgers DK.
Yeah, I think I would take that upside as well. Who did the Dolphins play in Week 14? I'll double check that. Who was that again? Oh, the Jets. That makes sense. Okay. No, because I was just going to say I have them only allowing 3.8 points back in Week 14. So I was like, who the hell? So the Jets, that checks out. Prior to that, 19.6, 16.4, 23.7, 25.6. Yeah, but you know what? I think I'd go the other side. I think I'll go Tua. I think it's a ballsy move because I like your logic of taking advantage of the double your pleasure, double your fun, double mid-gum with Rodgers and DK. But I'm looking at the points here that the Steelers have allowed to quarterbacks. I mean, 2 out of the last 3 games, they've allowed 20 points. They've allowed eight games with 20 points or more. They did have 1 game with 30 for what it's worth. Those 8 are tied for third most. So I think I would lean on the Tua side here, me personally. But I get the allure of having the stack, and I don't think that it's going to be a big drop-off. I'll say that. You have any counter to that, or is it like whatever?
No, I mean, I could absolutely see where you're coming from. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the Dolphins, I mean, I think they even still have like a whispers chance of a playoff hope, if I remember correctly. Like,
they're still technically in the hunt. Yeah.
Yeah. So well, I mean, why not? I mean, Tua, we've seen him go nuts.
Yeah.
I would love it because I've got one league where I need Waddle to get like 28 points this week for me to survive. So,
and they have been playing better for what it's worth. I just feel like it's gone by the radar. I'm only aware of it because our resident troll ATL is a big Dolphins fan. So we talk a lot about, which is fine. We talk a lot about the Dolphins. So I've noticed it, but I feel like it's not on as many people's radar. Nick Robert coming in here. How would you rank these RBs for Week 16 PPR? We'll rank them, but we'll remind you that it is early in the week, clearly, because we're still waiting for a bow on Week 15. One of these backs is Travis Etienne. I will just quickly mention Byshell Tootin getting surgery on a broken finger, so he's going to be out for a few weeks. So Travis Etienne, Trevion Henderson, I assume that's Trevion Henderson, Chase Brown, or Bucky Irving. Ben, I'll kick this to you if you'd like. How would you rank these guys? Again, PPR scoring.
Gosh, I almost want to put ETN at the top, but I feel like he's a trap just because he was so great this last week. I think I'm
He
going to
was
put. Yeah,
he.
go ahead.
I was only going to say because take a sip because your throat's struggling there a bit, guy. I want to help you out there, but I will just say yes, it was a great week for ETN. But keep in mind that was a great matchup for ETN. The prior up until yesterday, the prior 2 weeks, the Jets allowed 25.6% of the points that they've allowed to running backs in those 2 games prior. So I knew this was going to be a boom week for ETN, and it was. I'm just taking a look here at the old strength of schedule for week 16 for the running back position. Where are the Jaguars? Where are you? Well, at Denver, so not terrible, not clearly not as good as last week. If we look at this, I mean, the Patriots, the 12th easiest for Trevion Henderson. Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, where are you boys? All right, Buccaneers are right behind the Patriots. They're at Carolina, so that should be interesting. And then so Chase Brown. All right, so with that said, you've got 2 mid matchups for Chase Brown and for ETN, and you've got decent matchups for Henderson and Bucky.
So I think I put. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to put Bucky at the top because the Buccaneers they're going head to head now the rest of the season with the Panthers to try and determine who's going to win that division. They're going to need to put up. They're going to need to put up some offense to get it done. I feel like, especially since the ball is basically in the Panthers' court. I think if the Panthers just win 2 of their last 3 games, they're in no matter what. So I think Bucky is my number 1, followed closely by ETN.
You seem very hesitant on the whole ETN thing.
It's just like I just feel like I feel like he's a trap because we've seen some production from him recently, and now we've got Tootin, who's probably not playing the rest of the regular season. They very well just might let him sit until the playoffs because, I mean, they're in first place right now in the division. They win another game, I think they might lock it up. I would have to look into it a little further, but even so, if they win 2 of the last 3 games, they're definitely in. So I just and I love Chase Brown, but I think, even though it feels like a trap, I think ETN's my number 2, right above Chase Brown.
Okay. All right. So then you're going Bucky, ETN, Brown, Henderson. Is that what you're doing?
That's me.
All right. I'm going to go ETN. I'm going to go ETN. Then I'm going to go Henderson, Bucky, Chase Brown. I'm putting Chase Brown at the bottom because, God damn it, I don't, and I hate it with every fiber of my being. I do not like the vibes in Cincinnati. Yeah. It is like the vibes are comparable to when you have a girlfriend and she's about to break up with you and you're just waiting for it. It's the vibes just suck in Cincinnati, brutal. And I mean to the ETN thing, I get what you're saying. 30 points in week 15, 20.7 in week 14. He had a bummer 4.6 points in week 13, but the 2 weeks prior to that, he had 19 points in each of those 2 games. So there was some good play there. Then he gave you a dud. Then he gave you 2 games. I got the vibe about ETN. I was on him all year. I said he's not dead just because people want Byshell Tootin to succeed. They wanted same thing for Tank Bigsby. That didn't happen. So yeah, we're taking a long time with this, but yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'll go ETN up top.
That would be one way or the other. We've got Bucky and ETN as our top 2 guys. So
mainly, yeah. There you go. So there you go. Nick coming in. Hey guys. Hey Nick, how you doing, man? Nick says DK or Warren tonight. I need 19 points and leaning DK perhaps due to Warren's illness. I'll say this, and then Ben, you could chime in if you like. I would say if we hear some more negative things about Warren leading up to the game, if it's it's really bad, it's like a Mickey Mantle style where he's on the trainer's table with a bucket, then I would say go ahead, go DK. I think I'd do DK anyway. especially if it's PPR, Nick, which you didn't mention, but I'll check and see if you mentioned it. I think I go DK either way. He's also worried about Gainwell eating into Warren's snap share. So, Ben, with all that in mind, what would you do there?
I think I'm similar. I think you need to watch. We need to see if Mr. Warren there's any extra info that comes out. Like they've got him hooked up to an IV bag half an hour before the game starts. Maybe fade off of him. But I think I would still play DK in a full PPR situation. In any other situation, I think I actually might lean Warren still. I mean, unless he's coughing up sawdust or whatever on the sideline.
All right, fair enough. We got Pieces of Scrap, which is an interesting name. Nice little photo too. It says, if Warren is cleared to play Monday Night Football, are we still starting him in fantasy, or would you pivot to Gainwell? I personally think I like Gainwell more tonight. Death, taxes, and Arthur Smith tormenting our soul with the way in which he utilizes the running back position. But if you're in a PPR scenario, I think Gainwell is a better fit there. Gainwell's been getting a good amount of play. I want to take a look at how that's gone the last few weeks in terms of share. I will just say this: while I'm saying I'd go Gainwell, I'm not like, listen, he's got an illness. I'm not overly panicked. That could just be like he woke up and threw up a few times, and he's like, all right, I got out of the system. Like, I'm good to go. Like, so
maybe he's just got a scratchy throat like me.
Maybe he's got a scratchy throat like Ben. That's it. And since it's a game day, he can't drink whatever Ben's drinking. I'm going to pretend Ben's drinking bourbon. That's what I'm going to do.
That sounds like an amazing idea.
That does sound like an amazing idea. Wish I was doing it, as a matter of fact. But if I'm taking a look at the shares, Jaylen Warren has dominated the attempts, 51% to 27 over the last few weeks. But Gainwell is getting more of the target share. He's got it doubled in terms of targets. What are you doing here, Ben? I'm saying, I'm going on record, I would go Gainwell. How about you?
I had to go and look at it too. And just the fact that we've gotten the last 4 weeks, he caught 7 of 8 targets, 6 of 6 targets, and 2 of 3, and then 6 of 7 again. Those just over the last 4 weeks. He's getting it done through the passing game. He's still getting it done on his limited touches. You know what? I think actually I probably would too. Maybe they should just make it easy for us and just say he's not playing. Just say Warren's not playing. Then we can all just not worry about it.
That's a wonderful world to live in, but that's not the life that fantasy football provides. So
nope, especially when Arthur Smith is involved.
Damn straight, Arthur Smith. I would, if I saw him. Listen, he's a Marine guy, so he'd probably kick my ass. I'm gonna guess, but at least I'm Irish, so I would wait till he actually knocked me out. But I would like to fight him. We got Scorpion 72810.
I would buy that pay-per-view for sure.
What's that?
I'd buy that pay-per-view.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. That's it. Jacked up. Just made the finals off a Brandon Aubrey 40-yard field goal, 224 to 222. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT, but I would say this year, the champion for this year is Jason Myers. But Brandon Aubrey, even though he came up lame for his Cowboys, he came up well for fantasy football purposes. Pieces of Scrap said he needs 18 points to win for first. So that was in terms of the if Warren's cleared to play tonight, are you going him or are you going Gainwell? That's dicey either way.
Yeah, it is.
I'll just say that. That's dicey either way in terms of the running backs. I want to just check this here because we're probably going to get a couple questions about the running back situation there in Pittsburgh. If I'm looking here, I want to just pull this up here. Kenneth Gainwell has had 4 games with over 10 points, only 2 games with 20. Jaylen Warren's had none with 29 games with 10. I haven't seen Jaylen Warren. The closest he got at least in half point to 18 points to 17.8. And then if I'm looking at Gainwell, he had the 26 pointer, but that was about 3 weeks ago. So And prior to that was Jesus, Mary, Joseph was bad. Oof. Oy, Konya. You know what? I'm changing my pick. I'm going Jalen Warren over Kenneth Gainwell now that I'm looking at this. Because with Kenneth Gainwell, you're getting a lot of boomer busts. Again, I'm looking at half-point scoring. I'll walk you down this, even though it's a lot of numbers I'm going to read. Bear with me. Week 1, 3.8, 5.1, 9.1. Then he busts out for 28.4. He's got a bye week, comes back. These are all the games leading up to when he got 26 points. 6.6, 2.5, 2.5, 5.4, 1.4. That's a lot of shit in there, and then a gem of a game. So I'm saying I think the safer floor, even though he needs 18 points, at least I have a good idea. I could get 10 points with Jalen Warren if he's healthy. 9 out of 12 games, 10 points.
If he's healthy. And then I was just looking it up, and latest thing I found, and I don't know exactly how recent this is, but it said something like 22 minutes ago. This article was last updated. Tom Pelissero reports Warren will receive fluids and is optimistic he'll play.
All right. So again, this is something to continue to monitor.
Yep, we're going to be looking at this right up until like 5 minutes before the game kicks off. So,
yeah. Which, if you had Roma Dunze rostered yesterday, you should know it could be up to the last minute.
Yep.
We got a McPherson, that being Evan McPherson. Yep. And yeah, I'm sorry, Amazon Pancakes. I hope you still win anyway. But yeah, that was really bad yesterday for the Bengals as a whole. Corey in the house. Does anyone else still like the Lions and make the playoffs? I think with the future Bears matchup and Packer injuries, that division's still up in the air. I think the division's still up in the air. If I had to bet now, and I'm not going to lie, there's a little biasy towards this because I did predict the Lions would miss the playoffs and I got cursed out a lot. I still think the Lions miss the playoffs.
It looks like it more and more. It really does. And even with the Parsons injury for the Packers, it's like that could even like hurt them. I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers lost out the rest of the year, but and that then opens things up for the Lions. But they still got to play against the Vikings once. They've got to play against the Steelers next week. Yeah, I don't know.
It's bad news. It's we'll see, but yeah, we shall see. I just think that either way, whatever team, well, I think all three NFC West teams are going to make it to the playoffs. But one of those teams that doesn't make it in the North is going to be glaring at the NFC South and how they continue to just trot in a team that's not great. Yeah. So, Jonathan Santiago, I don't know why he has a dash. OK5RT. I don't know why I read it either, but here we are. He says, "Are we considering Tracy? I'm assuming Tracy a solid RB2. Rest of the fantasy football playoffs. Gonna have to start him or Sutton. Well, let me see this here. Strength the schedule here in terms of, Tracy obviously had an incredible week. I don't think you're planning on that every week, right?
No, and the Giants got the Vikings this week in Minnesota. Or no, it's in New York, but still,
it's not the best.
No, it's not.
Kind of a middle.
As guys like Gibbs who fumbled, who were not good against the Vikings. Montgomery, Derrick Henry, all averaged under 4 yards a carry against the Vikings.
Broncos have a pretty solid matchup. They go up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that game will be in Denver. I do want to just quickly check the Denver weather for that game, if you'll bear with me.
Absolutely.
Let me see where the hell I'm at here.
Tracy, the Giants do get they do travel to Vegas for Week 17 Fantasy Championship, so definitely worth a note for that week if you get there. So
the weather doesn't look terrible in Denver. It's a 4:05 game. Let me go here. Let me just get this. I will just say while I scroll here, Phillip Rivers is starting against the 49ers on Monday Night Football. If he beats my 49ers on prime time, I might have to hide off of Twitter for at least a day or 12 hours because that's going to be bad. It's going to be tough to look at. But the weather looks good. The wind doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look like any precipitation or anything. So, yeah, in terms of that, I think next week in particular, I think I go Courtland Sutton.
Yeah, I think I like Sutton for next week at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazon Pancakes coming in here. Ride out Seattle defense rest of the season. Not many good options out there in my league. Listen, I'm going to be God's honest with you. Amazon Pancakes 543. I live and die with Pete's analysis of defenses. While I would say stick with them, I would tell you Pete should be dropping his defense video probably tomorrow. I know he's not going to tonight. He should tomorrow, so I would definitely circle back on that. But yeah. So I still think they're a good option to play for the rest of the season. They've been putting up points more than a lot of other defenses in fantasy. So
they will be playing the Rams, and then when they played the Rams earlier this year, they only scored, at least in my scoring settings, only got 2 points, but that was in Los Angeles. So, and it's going to be a huge game. It's basically going to determine who wins the division.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, what's interesting about that is if the Seahawks win, and if the 49ers win out, because they play the Seahawks the final week, the 49ers would not only win the division, they'd be the number 1 seed.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's interesting. That's very cool.
That is kind of got me aroused when I said it out loud. Speaking of the Niners, what's that?
I love when everything's important at the end of the year.
Oh yeah, no, I'll say, fantasy season's cool and all, but when you see everybody getting down to nitty gritty in terms of trying to position themselves for playoff spots, yeah, it gets awesome. But I will just say, we were just talking about the Niners. I will just quickly say, Ricky Pearsall did aggravate his PCL injury. It wasn't on the hip drop tackle that wasn't called, that should have been called on one of the first plays of the game. It was actually on one of those final catches when Pearsall ran in to catch the ball. Didn't make a great catch, but he's dealing with the PCL injury. He's also got the lower ankle from the hip drop. So doesn't look like he's going to be able to go this week. I'll just say Shanahan didn't sound optimistic, so keep that in mind. At are you showing me your O face? He is down 42. He has 8 chan. What are your chances? Well, you better fucking hope it's PPR.
Yeah, they're not great. Not impossible, but not great.
It's not. Yeah, but as Kevin Garnett said, anything is possible. But
anything is possible. We saw what Kyle Pitts did.
Right. But we also saw what Isaiah Likely did. So,
yeah.
so I listen, I wish you all the best. I honestly do. But unless your scoring is hyper focused, definitely PPR and hyper focused on bonuses, it might be tough. Ace of Spades, I didn't even see this. He had, as I was reading off the Pearsall stuff, he did comment, Ricky Pearsall aggravated PCL. Is he a bust? I want to hold off on saying he's a bust, but next year I need to see more health out of this guy. Obviously, you got to give him a pass for the first year. I mean, the guy was shot in the chest. I feel like that's a good reason to give him a pass. This year, though, he's been unreliable. And even when he's been out there, hasn't done a ton. So I feel like this season kind of a bust, but I still think he's got some future ahead of him. Right. Yeah. This year, yes, he's a bust. But moving forward, he's got to show us he could stay healthy. Let's keep in mind, by the way, before we move on to the next question. Remember way back when, and I know Keenan Allen is not sexy for you guys anymore in fantasy, but if you guys are old enough to remember when Keenan Allen's career started, he had some really bad injuries to start his career. And people were like, this guy's never going to stay healthy. And all of a sudden, he put up a lot of productive years after that. So it's not impossible. But I'm saying we're going to give him one more year. Lord knows his draft cost won't be terribly high next season, depending on what the Niners bring in. KJ Frederick 838 comes in and said, "What's up, guys? Lost both Adams and Watson, but still won my matchup. That a boy, yes. Better wide receiver pickups. Coker, Golden, Stills, 2-2. Full point per reception. And you come in if let's see. He did comment on something after that, but we'll get back to that in a second. So he lost Adams, Christian Watson. They said the injury's not supposed to be as bad. If I'm doing a pickup here, I'll say this. I fucking hate this question. If I'm doing a pickup, I probably lean 2-2 Atwell. And then I'd go with a Golden because it sounds like Devontae Adams. I mean, McVay didn't seem optimistic in terms of how Devontae Adams was going to be after the injury. Didn't seem optimistic at all about playing next week or even fantasy football playoffs. So, with that in mind, it could be a perfect time for 2-2 to get a nice little quick touchdown. Couple catches. So I think I'd go 2-2 there, but don't love the question. Don't love your situation.
Don't love the question either, but I actually do like somebody more than 2-2. I like Jalen Coker. I do. I've liked Jalen Coker since last year when we saw him come out of nowhere in relief in late season with games of 110 receiving yards, 62 receiving yards. He had some little spikes here and there, and he also going up against the Bucs now this week. For the first of two meetings in the next 3 weeks. Obviously, the second one is week 18. We don't care about that one. Sure. Buccaneers have allowed receiving scores, 6 receiving scores in their last 5 games, and 5 of them have been to wide receivers. So
you know what? I kind of dig that actually. You might have just gotten me to pivot actually. Yeah, I think I go Coker over 2-2.
There you go.
Because I'm also looking, I mean, he had 15.4 points. Then he had the bye week. And then last week he had 12 points. Which, I mean, given these options, 12 points, that's great.
Also been 7 different players in the last 5 games who have gotten at least 69 receiving yards against Tampa Bay.
Okay. I will say, before we move on to the next question, your voice right now sounds like a pro wrestling heel back in the 80s. That's what you sound
like. Let me tell you something, brother.
Well, that's a good guy. We can't do that. But, I mean, Anthony would have loved that.
Yeah.
Anthony would have been all about that. KJ Frederick came back and said, if RJ is out based off of matchup, better RB to pick up. Play Bill. I assume that's Bill Krosky Merritt. Jordan, Houston, McLaughlin, or Michael Carter Jr. This has got to be a deep league, my man. It's got to be a deep league.
Yeah.
I want to check who let me be an actual podcaster and double check that. Who the hell? Saturday. Yeah, mind you, by the way, perfect opportunity. Thank you, KJ, for inadvertently reminding me to mention this. We do have Saturday games this week. 2 Saturday games. Eagles at the Commanders, and then the Packers at the Bears. I think I'd go Bill Krosky Merritt here. I'll say this. This is Monday, so we've got some time. I would say circle back, or if you're on X, you can hit me up at the FF Realist. Ben is at FF Rabbit Dad, but I mean, I think right now I'd say Bill Krosky Merritt, but I'd like to see how that Commanders backfield shakes out in terms of health. That being said, Ben, what are you feeling here?
I actually like Krosky Merritt too. He's already had 3 games of at least 80 rushing yards this year. And if we don't have Rodriguez again for a whole game, that's all going to go to Krosky Merritt. Bill's going to eat. Bill's going to feast.
Then KJ came in one more time and said, Pierce, I'll shake my head. He was having a good game too before that happened. Yeah, he was having a good game. But I also want to just say, I mean, he was having a good game. He had the hip drop tackle early, but he did come back in and had a lot more great catches. It added on to his stats much more than that first catch, of course. So good on Pearsall for coming back, but. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. He did follow up though and I guess this is a fair question to be asked, is Kendrick Bourne a pickup for this week? I suppose so. It sounds like to me, based on your questions, KJ, that you're in a deep league. So, if you have any options as opposed to Kendrick Bourne, like maybe guys that you could play, or if there's somebody else to pick up. But I mean, Kendrick Bourne he had 3 targets, 2 catches for 17 yards this last week, and it feels like I could be mistaken, but I feel because I watched that game wire to wire, I feel like he didn't get a target until the second half, or late in the first half. So it's kind of feels like him and Demarcus Robinson are just going to fight for table scraps. But good on Kendrick Bourne. He did get a $500,000 bonus for getting 500 yards receiving. But all that said, Ben, what says you? Is Kendrick Bourne worth a pickup?
I think it's a pipe dream. I really do.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
if we know he's getting enough touches, enough targets, then maybe. But even when he was just the guy, we still saw shoddy numbers in regards of targets. Even so,
Yeah. I think it's all, and I'm sure Ben will agree. And Ben, you could just smile and nod, and then I'll move on. But it's going to be about who else can he play, who does he have, who can he pick up, and he smiles and nods. And he, not just because I told him, he actually agrees because he would shake his head. So he agrees. We will move on. At Blackman BAMC McGee 5318. I just felt like reading that out loud.
Black Mamba
so
McGee.
long.
Black Mamba.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, McGee.
It sounds cooler when you say it as opposed to me spelling out like the middle of it and just reading it half-assed. But I'm starting Jacoby Brissett over Dart and Burrow. Am I crazy? On the surface, I'm gonna say you're not crazy, only because I mean he's been Jacoby Brissett's basically been a QB1 every single week he's played. Even this past week against the Texans, where I ranked him 12th, and people were like, "You're stupid for ranking him 12th," and he finished 12th. So far, prior to tonight. But let me see this here. But I'll say that, like Burrow. My God, I hate the vibes there, but I feel like Burrow could just bust out and have a huge game. And then you got
He absolutely could, yeah.
And then you got Dart going up against the Vikings. I'd say as of right now, the Cardinals are going up against the Falcons. I don't think you're crazy. I'll tell you this: as of Monday at 6:41 Eastern Standard Time, check back with me later in the week. I think I go Jacoby here, Ben. My nuts are.
Yeah. No, I mean, all we've seen from Jacoby since he's taken over is he can't not be a quarterback one. It's every single week. I mean, it doesn't matter who he's playing against. It doesn't matter if it's just being really good and they're winning or if it's just garbage time. It all counts for fantasy. So, yeah, no, I don't think you're crazy. I mean, at first glance, it looks crazy, but yeah,
Right.
Atlanta should be able to put up decent numbers. And if you get to the championship against Cincinnati, that's a wet dream right there.
Yeah, we all love wet dreams, I think, right? Maybe, sort of, in a way.
Back in the day, I used to. So.
Well, okay. Well, let's pretend it's back in the day. Let's roll back the clock. Let's reminisce. Let's not reminisce. Let's not do that. We should put that shit behind a paywall. I am getting asked a question quick on Twitter. On Discord. I'm sorry. We have a Discord. We'll put the Discord link in the chat where people can ask me some questions in there, and I answer. And I am answering somebody right now. They're asking about 2 great kickers, Jason Myers or Miami Fairbairn this week. I'm going with Jason Myers this week. Jason Myers, the Seahawks, going up against the Rams on Thursday night, which, Ben, you referenced already earlier. Let me see this. Tron Force, 8199. I dropped Emmanuel Wilson before kickoff and picked up Jordan Love. They currently have Dart, but he's facing the tough Vikings defense. Love plays the Bears minus Watson. I don't think that's a huge deal, but minus. Well, I know Watson's been playing well lately, but I mean, he's got other wide receivers there. It's not like he's suddenly walking into an island of misfit toys. But Bo Nix is also available on waivers, though. So, Ben, I'll pitch that to you, and then you could take another sip of your tea or gasoline or rum or vodka or gin, whatever the fuck it is you're drinking.
It's peppermint tea with
Okay.
peppermint McGillicuddies
Oh,
and a little bit of just straight McGillicuddies, just because why not?
just because why not? That's the best thing to say. But all right, so this is the situation. He's looking at he's got Jordan Love, he's got Jackson Dart. You talked about it already, Vikings defense. He could also get Bo Nix here. What would you be looking to do here? Denver is again Jacksonville Jaguars. We talked about that. That's in Denver. Good weather against the Jaguars. What do you do here? Nick's coming off a great game too, by the way.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he really is. I think maybe you just ride the lightning with Knicks actually, because the Vikings defense is basically having their way with people. I mean, they held the Cowboys to respectable numbers yesterday. So there's that, and then Bears, their defense is not bad at all either. You got Watson out, but again, like Mike said, it's not a huge deal because they've still got guys like Wicks, they've still got Dubs, they've still got Jaden Reed. But no, I think Nix is the right call here.
Yeah, I think Nix is the call for me too. Actually, as much as I love Dart, which is actually scaring the shit out of me because I have to start him in one of my leagues this weekend coming up. But yeah, that's gonna be fun. Okay, but yeah, no, I think I go Bo Nix there. Tron Force. KJ Frederick said I had BTJ rostered. I think I played him 2 or 3 times this season. Yeah, I have CD as my wide receiver 1 and Michael Wilson. Well, yeah, Michael Wilson's been fantastic throughout the year. So, and that's pretty much all we have here right now. Yeah, so I mean, I guess we'll look at if you're someone who's got Devontae Adams, I guess you're pretty much you'd assume you're screwed at this point, right? At least you got to find somebody to pick up.
Yeah, but we don't have bye weeks to worry about, so there's options out there. Maybe you can go and get a guy like Jalen Coker, like Adonai Mitchell, who's been getting targeted a lot in the last few weeks, regardless of quarterback.
Yeah.
Jalen Naylor looked pretty good. Who else? Devon Vele's been getting targets. There's guys out there you can pick up as a spot start.
And we got at Tree Hugging Hunter coming in here. Thoughts on Reed now that Watson is injured? Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those, it depends who's out there sort of things. Depends who's available in free agency. I will tell you, you can either let us know who's available if you have a couple names, or you could always just comment after the show in the comment section below. Feel free to like the video, by the way, and we'll happily answer you, get back to you. But I mean, I would say that Reed is worth a pickup now that Watson's injured. It's just, I wouldn't expect the moon from him. I wouldn't expect to start him over huge names. So there is a, there is a barometer there. And I assume, Ben, you're in on that one.
Yeah, like Jaden Reed's the kind of guy you're probably almost never going to get a weak winning performance from, but you could still get a very safe floor. You're like 10, 11, 12, 13 points in a PPR, half PPR setting.
Now, I'm sorry because you're oh, wait, we'll do this before. I do want to ask you a Vikings question, but we'll do this really quick. Albert says he needs 10 points from Jalen Waddle tonight. Is that a PPR, Albert?
If it's PPR, you already won.
All right. Let me see this. Let me see because Waddle has slowed down a bit, though. I know that. He was coming out hot after the Tyreek Hill injury. Well, he did have 15.6 last week. And half. But yeah, before that, 5.5, 6.7. But then, yeah, there were a couple of good games there. 18.4, 11.2, 16.9. Yeah, I think you could hang there. I am actually
PPR. If it's full PPR, like 5 catches, 50 yards, that's all you need.
Yeah. As a fun little exercise, a fun, selfish little exercise, I want to pull up my home league where I am playing the none other than the incomparable, the ever impressive, sometimes jerk Pete Nova in my home league. I am up 148.34 to 117.84. I've got Waddle. He's got Achane and McCaffrey. Not McCaffrey, Metcalf. McCaffrey. If he had McCaffrey, I'd be crying my ass out. He's got Achane or Metcalf. I've got Waddle, and I'm up a good amount. 148 to 117. Do I got this?
He's got Achane and Metcalf.
He does. And I've got Waddle.
You got Waddle.
PPR.
I think you're in a very good spot.
Yeah.
Obviously, anything can happen, but
I've had my heart broken before. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
We all have.
So listen, we'll start to, between the questions drying up and between Ben's voice, we'll start to wrap this sucker up soon. Selfishly, too, for me, then I can relax, make some dinner, chill out a bit. But I do want to ask you, Ben, because you're the Vikings guy, and I know, good things turned out okay yesterday, but at least in terms of the Vikings, but what does the guy who has Justin Jefferson do? If you make it to, we consider this more or less, we consider this to be the semifinals coming up. Championship week is week 17. If you're in a league that has a Super Bowl in week 18, then you need to find new friends and you need to make sure that they play half point or full point. But so be that as it may, if someone's in the semifinals, they have Justin Jefferson. Say it's you, Ben. Are you putting him out there? Because you might actually be in that spot since you're a Vikings guy, and I assume you're hanging in the playoffs in a couple of leagues. So how do you approach Justin Jefferson?
Well, it was an uncharacteristic week for him. Obviously, he dropped a couple easy passes. McCarthy looked pretty solid all day.
Yep.
It's just one of those kind of fluky things. It's like, I don't feel like it really changes how I'm looking at Justin Jefferson. Everybody's going to have a bad day, and he clearly had one yesterday. But with the matchup against the Giants, McCarthy slinging it really good. I think I could still start him if I needed to. At this point, I'd be surprised if anybody's in their championship round with Jefferson on their team. But, I'm sure there's somewhere where it happened.
Yeah, well, that's kind of, that's kind of how I felt about Kyle Pitts. But I went into some of my underdog best ball leagues, and I mean, there's still some teams that advanced to the to the millionaire playoffs that still had Kyle Pitts. I was stunned. But yeah, I think I'd still put him out there, but it's definitely matchup dependent. It is not like it once was, which like, oh, he's a plug and play. And I will just say this, and then we have another question from Ray Gamer, and then unless we get another question, we'll get out of here. But I am fascinated to see, and Ben, you don't have to comment on this just because it's just because you'll probably just agree. Just say, yeah, it's, but like, I'm fascinated to see what the Justin Jefferson draft cost will be in 2026 in the summer, because he was a bona fide first round pick. He's one of the first wide receivers you're taking. Depending on your scoring, maybe you're taking him over one of the running backs even. But I mean, with this year, and if they're going to have JJ McCarthy back, and I know, Ben, you had in your title there that you believed in JJ the whole time, or I'm not sure if other fantasy football players believe in that. So I'm just fascinated to see where that goes. If you have a comment, you can feel free since you're a Vikings guy. Otherwise, I'll go on to the next question. But
no, I'm still, obviously, I'm in on JJ. I'm in on Jefferson. I think we've seen enough growth just in even these last couple of weeks that lets us know that it's just taking a little bit longer than we initially hoped. And by the time next season comes around, everybody's healthy and we've still got the same core guys. I think, JJ, I think Jefferson's draft stock will tumble a little bit. Maybe not a first round pick, which is fine because I would love to scoop him up in the second round next year if I could. So yeah, I see him falling into the second round for next year's drafts.
Yeah, I don't seem so much further than that, but we'll see. It'd be interesting to see. We'll end it with this unless we get another question. But Ray Gamer 7046 said, "Should I play Lamar versus the Pats on Sunday Night Football at home or Burrow on the road next week, early next week for the semifinals? 6 points for a passing touchdown." Let me double check who the so you didn't mention it there. Who were the Bengals playing again? I know I looked it up earlier. Bengals are where are you boys? Oh, you're at Miami. Well, the weather will be better. That's for sure. I'm deep thinking right now. If I had to answer this right now, and he does have another wide receiver question. We'll get to that quick, but I initially, as shitty as the vibes are with Cincinnati, 6 points or passing touchdown, I kind of lean Joe Burrow initially. I want to check something else, but Ben, did you have any thoughts on this? The Ravens are going up against, and he mentioned it there, the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. Do you have any thoughts there? Which one you'd be looking to play?
I feel it feels like Lamar has been attacking us this year, like just making us unhappy. So I think I'm totally off Lamar for the rest of the year, and I'd just be going with the Burrow boat.
Yeah, I think in this spot, I think I go Joe Burrow here too. All right, good. I'm glad you were there. Now I don't feel like I'm too crazy. Let me see this. Bob Hope 123 said, "I need A-Chan to get 9 points and I will win tonight, please." I think 9 points is definitely doable. Someone else needed a lot more points, but I think that's doable. Ray Gamer came in here, said, "Which two wide receivers would you play in non-PPR next week?" So, I have to say it every show when it's mentioned. Non-PPR standard leagues are the soft porn of fantasy football. Now that I got that out of the way, Jefferson versus the Giants, Sutton versus the Jags, Rice versus the Titans, Ibuka versus the Panthers, Jaden Reed versus the Bears, or BTJ versus the Broncos. As of now, I have Sutton in for wide receiver 1 and a partridge in a pear tree. I don't know if I call Sutton a wide receiver 1 though. And which two wide receivers? I am realizing I am fucked in my home league next week as I'm reading this question, thinking about stuff. I got Rasheed Rice. Oh my god, without Pat Mahomes, I am so proper fucked. Anyway, enough about me. Those good vibes I have for you. I would go Sutton and Justin Jefferson here. Ibuka's been scaring the crap out of me, man. We got bad drops, not great play. I'm kind of off on that.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, I think I'm still going Jefferson.
Because I think of it this way too. You've got BTJ going up against the Broncos.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. So what are you doing to that?
The Bears. I don't like Ibuka. It's really between
so what would you debate there?
It's between Sutton and Rice for me. Yeah.
I go Jefferson and Sutton. I am fascinated, and not just because I have him in my home league. I am fascinated to see what Rasheed Rice does with Gardner Minshew. Who knows? Gardner, I mean, but let's not forget, we had fun with Gardner Minshew. We enjoyed him in fantasy football.
Love Gardner Minshew. Love him. I still have a shirt that says I drafted Gardner Minshew in my fantasy football league.
Yeah, there you go. It's a nice shirt. I like that idea. Yeah, that was I need 9 points. Let me see this. Let's bang these out quick. Evening gents got the dub. We're getting up. We're definitely getting at. If questions dry up, we're definitely getting out of here at the hour for sure, '1000%. Evening gents got the dub even with Joe Burrow and Isaiah Likely. God bless you. How we feeling, Bo Nix? Where would you rank them rest of the season? Top 8, top 10. I mean, I don't have a specific ranking right now off the top of my head, top 8 or top 10. I will tell you I like Bo Nix this week. I know Ben does too. We talked a little bit about that. The Broncos were going up. Where the hell were you, dirty boys? You were a 4 o'clock game. 3 times I've had to look at this. That's how you tell I'm in my 40s. Jaguars are at the Broncos. I like Bo Nix. When you tell me top 8, top 10, I got to be honest with you. I would more prefer like, hey, I have these names. Who are you playing? But I like Bo Nix this week. And I don't want to. I don't feel comfortable commenting on the week after if we're not even there yet. We've seen how much can change this past Sunday. So, but I feel good about Bo Nix, and I assume Ben through his coughs, he feels good about Bo Nix too.
Yeah, I think he's a safe play. I don't think he's a week winning play, but I think he's safe. So like right around that 8 to 10.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna bang this out. We're gonna mercifully let Ben go shortly, but what the hell is this? Let's see.
I promise this will be better next week.
All right. I hope so for your sake. Vikings D or Rams D in week 16. Again, I'll say what we always kind of like to wait for Pete's rankings, which should be coming out tomorrow. But if I had to pick, I'd probably say Vikings defense.
Vikings for me.
Yeah, Vikings defense. Yeah, Rams are going up against the Seahawks. I do expect a bit of a bounce back from what they did against the Colts. And then Bob Hope said, let me see here. KC, Rams or Ravens defense. I mean, let me see this. Yeah. KC, Rams. Kansas City going up against Tennessee. I go Kansas City in that spot, but again,
yeah.
Pete Nova comes out with his rankings. Should be dropping tomorrow. I'll have my kicker rankings tomorrow. He's the best guy to talk to there. So, but yes, I will just put that out there. Would you roll with Trevor Lawrence, Bo Nix, or Jacoby Brissett this coming week? I would personally do Brissett slightly over Bo Nix this week. Trevor Lawrence played incredible, but he played against the Jets. So,
Jacoby,
Nix, he hadn't
order.
Yeah, he keep in mind Trevor Lawrence had 40 points this week. He hadn't had a 30-point game since 2023. So, let's just keep that in perspective. You see this Herbert versus Dallas or Jacoby versus Atlanta. I want Herbert to be something, but the offensive line's doing him no favors. He's running for his life if you watch that Kansas City game, and he's also dealing with that hand. And I don't care if he says it's affecting him or not. I think I go with the steadiness of Jacoby. This is the world we're living in 2025. There's a lot of fucked up and wild things in the world, and one of them is not so much fucked up, but it is wild. We're relying on Jacoby Brissett.
Kobe.
So, yeah. So, and then let me see this. Okay. All right, we'll do this last one, then we're out of here. Then we're cutting the faucet. I need 8 points to win, and I got Jalen Warren or Jalen Waddle, and I don't know who to pick because they both fall off sometimes. I'll tell you this. I don't know. And listen, if you're here, comment quickly because this was only a minute ago. If you're standard, half point, full point, but my immediate reaction, you could talk me out of it if it's standard, perhaps, but if it's any point per reception, I'm going Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I'm going Waddle too. They did just say 6 minutes ago, Warren active for tonight.
Okay, so you go. We'll see how active
I'm still going
is,
Waddle.
But,
yeah, I'm still going Waddle.
Yeah, same here. All right, so he didn't respond, but listen, if it's standard, if it's standard, Ben, are you going Waddle or Warren? Just because because I'm assuming you and I, if it's half point or full point, you and I are both going Waddle.
Absolutely,
if it's standard, does your mind change?
No, I think I'm still with Waddle.
So do I. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, we got just at the hour anyway, so we've hit an hour, which is what we try and do on Mondays anyway. But we are going to we're going to let Ben rest that beautiful, soft, wonderful voice of his. He could probably call people and pretend that he's kidnapped kids, and they would believe him based on the raspy voice, and they'd be like, "Yeah, he used one of those voice machines." Anyway,
it might work. It very well might work.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. I mean, it worked on me just now. I mean,
What's your favorite scary movie?
Here's the problem: if you called me after this, I would say keep the kid. I wouldn't bite. Yeah, keep it. Have fun with that, and then I would change my number so you couldn't find me. But be that as it may, our show is now over. Guys, enjoy Monday Night Football. Hopefully things work out for you. We will be here all week with my kicker rankings will be out. The DST rankings will be out with Mr. Pete Nova. We'll have a running back video, tight end video, all that fun stuff. We'll do start sit videos and all that live shows. Until next time, folks, stay thirsty. Be kind to one another. We'll catch you on the flip side, and cheers.